Hey there everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the 11 books that I have on my March TBR. So I know that I didn't post a February TBR, but that's okay because I have a lot of books carrying over from my February TBR, so you're still going to get to see them and hopefully also see me reading them in the month of March. So I am in the middle of a lot of series right now if you've been keeping up with my weekly reading vlogs. So what I'm going to do first is start with my standalone books and then go into the series. The first standalone novel that I really am going to get to because I am listening to it already right now as an audiobook through Spotify, and that is An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. A Dowry of Blood last year was one of my favorite books. It was so dark but also enthralling and just did so well in the writing. And it was so fast paced that I did not want to put it down at all and finished, I think, within 24 hours. So this author's writing is obviously very enchanting and just makes me want to read more. And I feel like this book is going to be no exception. I believe this book takes place at a boarding school or a college, and this freshman has just arrived, and I think that there is going to be some professor-student dynamics, also some vampires somehow, and obsession, and I am just so excited for all of those different components because I've already seen the author do this so well, and I just can't wait to get into this book. Also, the audiobook is already doing a fantastic job. Sometimes an audiobook narrator can either make or break a book for me, and I am really enjoying it so far. So I will keep you all updated in the weekly vlog on that one. Next, I want to pick up Faybound by Sarah Ella Raffi in this month because it came out in January and was one of my top, most anticipated releases in January. And this author is just so highly acclaimed that I want to read their books so much. Also, I spent the money on Pango to get this Fairy Loot edition of it because it is absolutely stunning and I could not continue to live my life without it. So I need to read this book and I need to be absolutely obsessed with it to justify that cost. But I believe that this is going to be a sapphic novel, but it has fae and elves, and there's going to be a bunch of different, maybe like political things going on, potentially some war that's happening. So I think that this is going to be the start of a really good fantasy series, so I just need to pick it up and get to it. Next, I actually have 3 NetGalley arcs that I have to get to in March because these books are coming out in April and I want to be able to share them with you all and hype them up if I really enjoy them, or let you all know what my thoughts are if I don't particularly like a book. So first we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is coming out very early April, and after yours truly last year, I am just such an Abby Jimenez fan. I actually really did not like her book A Part of Your World, but I am so glad I gave her another chance with yours truly, and all of the early reviews so far about Just for the Summer have been so positive. Everybody has been eating it up, 5 stars easily, so I have really high expectations for this book. I believe what's happening in this book is our main male character has this thing where any girl that he dates, once they break up, she goes on to find her soulmate partner for life, husband. And so he just feels like the in-between guy, and he really wants to hopefully get out of this curse that he's in. And I believe that the woman who, our main female character, she also has a similar experience. So they try to date each other, like a fate dating thing, so that their curses both break. And I think that it's just going to be so much fun. And also there is a dog on the cover, so I'm already anticipating loving that. But regardless, this sounds like such a fun concept, and I think that we are definitely going to get more from the story than just a romance, which we always do with Abby Jimenez, so I'm really, really looking forward to this one. Next, I have An Enchanting Case of Spirits by Melissa Holtz, and this comes out early April too, I believe. This is about a woman's 40th birthday and she's with her friends, and they kind of throw caution to the wind and they go to get a psychic reading and end up bringing some of those spirits home with her. And I think it's just going to be a little bit of a silly, funny time. Nothing too serious. I think that we're going to have a bit of a love interest, but it's interesting because her husband has just passed. And so I'm not really sure what's going to go on within the romance department, but I'm more excited about the supernatural elements, and I believe we're going to have some pretty strong female friendships in this book as well. So those are the components that I'm really excited about for this one. And then the last NetGalley arc is A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cathrall, and I have such high hopes for this one as well because one, the cover is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at it. I think that this is also going to be very interesting because it is I believe like a murder mystery, but it's set underwater. So these two individuals were pen pals and then they go missing. And then their siblings, I believe, have to team up to try to figure out what happened to them. So I think that the atmosphere is going to be really rich in a fun like mystery as well. So I have really high hopes for this one and I hope that it works out for me because there is a Fairy Loot special edition of this book and I am obsessed with it. So I really want to read this beforehand to see if it is worth the cost of getting it. So those are my 5 standalone books that I have on my March TBR. Now let's get into the series. So first, I have already started on my A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and I have read Killjoy and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I finished those in February. So we are going to be continuing on in this series with Good Girl, Bad Blood and As Good as Dead. If you don't know what this series is about, I'll talk about it generally. We are following our main character, Pip, and she ends up choosing a case for her senior capstone project about a murder that happened in their small town. And it was just an easy open shut case, but we see that it is not such once she starts to dig into it. So she really goes into detective mode. She is really completely consumed by this case and will stop at nothing and just throw caution to the wind to be able to bring this case justice. So it has been so interesting. I've really enjoyed Pip's character and all of the side characters as well. And it was definitely a little bit dark towards the end there. I was very stressed out for Pip, but I really enjoyed my time with it. So I've already picked up Good Girl, Bad Blood and I'm about 120 pages in now and am still so enthralled by the story. So we are getting another mystery that is happening in this book and I'm not sure what's going to happen in this book yet, but I am not going to talk about it. But if you need a new YA mystery series, I highly recommend the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. It is so intriguing so far. Next, if you have been keeping up with the weekly reading vlogs, you know that I am so deep into the Magnolia Parks universe right now. So what we are going to be reading, and this is also for my In Real Life book club, we've been reading them together and have loved talking about them because there's so much to talk about because it is just so toxic. And I never recommend these books. I feel like they are so triggering and either you love them or you hate them. I just happen to be one of the people that love them. So I predict that this month we are going to be reading Daisy Hates The Great Undoing by Jessa Hastings, and this is going to be following again Daisy and Christian and Julian, and these are different characters and who we follow primarily in Magnolia Parks, which is BJ and Magnolia, and we get to see these characters because these stories are happening at about the same time, so we get to just see it from a different perspective. And honestly, I really enjoy Daisy's character, I think a bit more than Magnolia. But every time I go back to a Magnolia and BJ story, then I am just completely consumed by Magnolia. So I just love this world and the series, but I think that this storyline has a bit more plot to it because we have more of the gang lord and the art acquirer. So I think that there's a bit more plot in these books, but even still, it is just a character development, good vibes kind of book. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into Daisy and Christian's story, especially after where Daisy Hates left off. And then also I believe we are going to pick up Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, and I am just going to be so flabbergasted with this book because the way that Magnolia Parks A Long Way Home left off, I was absolutely shattered. So I really want to get into this book soon to see what happens, how is everything going with Magnolia and BJ, and see how they are going to overcome everything that has happened. Also, I just love these original covers so much. But this book is like 800 pages, which is just the most insane thing because truly there is no plot to these books. They are just character development stories and we're focused on that and the vibes and high society London. And I think that there's going to be a fair amount of grief in this one. We definitely got to see more of what trauma bonded them in Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. And I believe we are going to get even more trauma that is going to bring them closer together in this story as well. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into it. And then the last duology that I'm going to be picking up this month is A Familiar Magic and A Familiar Betrayal by E.M. Rinaldi. I think that this is just going to be such an interesting read. The author herself sent this over, so I'm very thankful for her for doing that. But I just think that this is going to be a very interesting read. So our main female character killed her best friend when she was younger and has since been on the run to escape her heritage and everything that is happening within her own world. But then she is found and brought back kicking and screaming by her best friend's older brother to hopefully deal with the political unrest that is now happening within their world. So I think that we are going to have a fair amount. I believe that it is witches. We are going to have witches in here. So that is going to be so interesting. So it's witches and demons, and we are just going to see how this world is going to progress. I am very excited about the best friend's older brother. I believe that there are training components within this story as well. So I'm really looking forward to this. And also these are on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll have some Kindle time as well. So very much looking forward to it and very thankful to have received a copy of this book. And those are the 11 books that I plan to read in the month of March. I'm very much looking forward to it because we have a lot of different genres. We have fantasy, we have romance, we have YA mystery, so we have it all in here. And I just feel like I need that because if I stick on one for too long, I definitely get a little bit bored with it. But I am very excited about all of these. I hope you all can tell by my voice because I am just like screaming right now, for me anyway. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know what you're excited to read in the month of March, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!